Hi, everybody. I'm Scott,
And I'm Luke.
And I am Jonathan.
and this is the No Way to Hollywood podcast. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. This is indeed the No Hollywood podcast.
That's the point where you realize this podcast has almost no content to give you, except that we do. We do have some content.
We got
tonight.
content. We got content. We got words.
We've got lots of content. Gentlemen, today we are going to jump in and go back to the concept we did when we wrote a sequel. Oh.
Right. Okay.
So we're titling it Jump In and Go Back.
Jump in, go back, write a sequel.
Write a sequel. Writing a sequel. And we did talk about this ever so briefly before turning on the camera. So we're going to try and write the next great Bond movie.
We never said great. We never said great. I did not agree to great.
I will be aiming for fantastic, but we'll see where we get to.
I'll go for mediocre.
Mediocre.
So let's start out with, what is it about the Bond series that makes a good Bond movie good?
Okay, should we just define the hallmarks? Is that what we're talking about?
that's what I want to. I mean, we're going to jump into this.
Bond is a chauvinistic, sexist womanizer who is a secret agent who generally gets to do a few things. One, he shoots bad guys and makes explosions go big, okay? He also gets to have the sex with the ladies. He also has many cool gadgets that he uses to accomplish all of this. He's also like British or something, I guess. And there's usually a car chase, depends on the movie. But generally a car chase, a water boat, some sort of chase, some sort of vehicular chase, maybe an on-foot chase. Yeah, chases, action. Bond's it's gonna usually, used to be, it has tons of terrible quips. Used to be that way. I'm glad they've kind of moved away from that. And that's the thing. Every Bond era is an era. There are true differences between them of, this is a lot more of this kind of comedy. This is a lot more of this kind of comedy. There's no comedy here. The kinds of gadgets or having gadgets at all, how grounded or fantastical or cheesy or serious it is. I mean, all the Bond series are all over the place, but Bond is going to shoot someone. He is going to stop a plot to do something bad, and he's going to have sex. These are the Bond things.
Okay.
Well, and he's going to use gadgets.
Generally.
And solve problems through something that somebody gave him at one point in time. This is the thing.
And not quite Batman levels, but there's a rogue gallery for Bond, not in the sense of a repeating cast of bad guys, but, bad guys tend to stand out. At least there's a goon, Odd Job with the hat. He stands out in a crowd. It's Odd Job, or Goldfinger, or what's the guy, the Jaws with the teeth, or even the newer ones with Pierce Brosnan. I still remember those they're always trying to make those bad guys stand out in some way. Even in Casino Royale, I weep blood and play poker. There's always some defining trait, something that makes that villain memorable, whether it's because they're threatening, ridiculous, or just a memorable trait. So you're like, oh, it's that one with the blood in the eye.
Yeah, there was the one who was going to steal water from people.
We don't talk about Quantum of Solace here.
Okay, and then with that, just as a
and
point.
theme song. Their theme song's always important too.
Yep,
and
the
the opening credits.
Yep. But then there's. Yeah, and with that, how far can you push a PG-13 film? What
Generally,
what
yes,
can you
you're pushing as hard as you can. Yeah.
And then like the bad guys, like the Bond girl, I feel also has kind of a they're trying to make her interesting in her own way. Like, what is it about her this time? That kind of draws him in, right? That's kind of a thing.
Give her a weird name.
There's going to be
the names, because
the names
back
can
when
be
they were doing,
ridiculous.
when they were doing puns and stuff all the time.
There's M, who's been a man for a lot of them, and was a woman iconically for the last set. There is Monty Penny as well, has been a maker. Felix Leiter, the American CIA guy who shows up to help out every once in a while. Or my favorite introduction of that character is in Casino Royale. It says, it's Felix Leiter. I'm a brother from Langley. I was like, that's cool. I like you. There's a lot. So poker, obviously casinos, poker, wealth, Aston Martins,
Shaken, not stirred.
shaken, not stirred.
So
And,
he's gonna
always
drink a
introducing
martini.
yourself.
Yeah, Bond,
Bond,
James Bond,
James
or
Bond.
some sort of joke about that.
Bond. James Bond.
Oh, okay. So now I know what I want in this movie.
Okay.
One thing that I want in this movie is at some point he gets paged, and it's like Bond, James Bond to the clerical desk. Something. That's what I want. I want that in this film.
I see us setting a tone that's going a little differently than the serious tone that we've had recently in Bonds. I think the first thing we have to do is cast.
Okay.
Because that is going to be the quintessential, like that's going to make
So
the story's going to come out.
are we casting James
now,
Bond
now
or are we
he comes back. We proved that the 007 theory, like that's always been a monarchy, like a moniker for all these different agents, is true, and he's still alive somehow, which I don't buy. And he comes back.
He played an evil Russian in Chuck.
And
so
Chuck,
we need to
that was great.
Uh,
Anyway, sorry.
So
Sorry.
We
are
need
we-
to cast a current actor. Or we can just choose. We're going to do a
as
Craig one.
Bond or as the
Bond.
bad
We're starting
guy?
with Bond.
As Bond. We need to
We need to start with
set
Bond.
the tone of what this is going to be. I would enjoy someone like Idris Elba myself.
Let's go with Idris Elba. That sounds awesome.
I mean, Scott gets to say. What would you like to say, Scott?
I mean, I've been outvoted already at this point.
Give me an option to vote again. I can switch the vote.
I mean, I don't. That sounds good.
Did you? Okay, fine. Idris Elba then.
Awesome. And then we've
Playing.
talked before about
Oh, and just so you know, like it's 3 Americans here, and generally Americans aren't allowed to make Bond films. Like I don't think I've seen an American director. Has there been an American director? I don't think I've ever seen an American director. Maybe I'm just completely off on my Bond trivia, but I'm pretty sure they let the Brits handle that entire series. They're like, no, the Americans can have their own thing, which is why we made Mission Impossible. Anyway, so
okay. So
it's going to be slanted because we're Americans.
okay, and then
So we've got one character.
Yeah. So we've got Idris Elba.
Who is James Bond?
James Bond.
A version that we haven't like.
Yeah,
This could
right.
be like
This could
this is his first outing.
Yeah.
Right? Like as far as a movie. Now, where is he in his career? Is it like has he been Bond forever? Is this his first time becoming like
No, we're not going back to Casino Royale. We're
So
not doing it.
So
casting a new person though gives us the freedom to basically, I mean, like you said, for each different Bond, there's been a different style of what the Bond looks like or what the Bond. I mean, is it more humorous? Is it more? I mean, let's be honest. The Pierce Brosnan, like, let's not have him talk as much as possible and still do cool things. Kind of got boring after a while.
I mean, Pierce did talk, and it was awful. Like it was really cheesy, is what I'm saying. It was good, but it was really cheesy. I grew up on that Bond. Daniel Craig is I've really enjoyed Daniel Craig's, the icy cold looks and the like. It's grounded and serious, and he's wounded kind of thing, but he's always really tough. Like I don't know. I've enjoyed this iteration of Bond.
And with Daniel Craig, the humor is in his confrontations with the bad guys, right? You know, like here he's being tortured, and he's like, "Oh, just a little bit more to the left. I got an itch there." You know, like he's like he's always messing with them as his coping mechanism, right? Like
A little bit, yeah.
But the humor,
Yeah. I mean, but with our new version of Bond here with Idris, how do we want him to carry himself? To like how would we write it? I suppose because you know you cast Idris, you assume he's going to show up and do his thing. But
so why would you cast him?
Because I think he would be cool. like legitimately, I think he would be a different choice. We've never had. I mean, so we've never had a black man be Bond, and like the England and he is English. He comes from an English area, and I don't know which like accent exactly he has. I wonder if we would play with that and just say, well, that area of England, we'd have to research, which great, we haven't researched, so we have no idea what we're talking about. But that area of England's kind of where I would go off of and say, okay, so he's from there, and the character's from there as well, and became James Bond. And I think that Idris would be really cool. He's a little older, right? But I think he could have the athletic persona. I think he can do the action, but he's older too. And I think Craig's been older as well. And I enjoy, and like I don't think Bond's supposed to be I've never really wanted Bond to be young. I've always wanted Bond to be more like older, more mature, sort of world weary, and I think Idris could do that really well. So I think that's a good starting place, but I don't, we write the character how we want it to go, and the actor can perform the part or not. But that's my guesstimate up to what he would be.
Right. But based on that, what I'm hearing you say is that this Bond is going to be a little more serious, so it is going to be the humor in the situation that'll pop up rather than necessarily the clever line.
Bond, James Bond, to the counter, please.
I fear that's the only thing that's going to make it into this movie.
It's my one and only good idea.
I mean, do you have a rags like so in Craig's Bond? We understand him to be an orphan, and there's a little bit of his past that plays into it, but we don't. There's a couple movies where we go into his past a little bit. Where did he grow up in Scotland? Like, there's these other things going on that we've gone into a little bit to see a little bit of what his past might have been like. And I wonder if we do that here too, but it's more of a instead of is he an orphan? How do you want to play this? Is because Bond again, he has to be going to parties and dressing nice and be wealthy and have cool gadgets and be fighting the bad guys. Like that's classic Bond. But how could you use that to be in contrast to some other part of his character, or to how would you give him depth? And I wonder if you.
What I would like to do then. Okay, because my initial thought was, well, wouldn't it be funny if he had a family, right? Like, wouldn't that be cool? But no, that wouldn't be cool because he's going around dating women.
Because he's James Bond.
So instead, like,
I mean, the bad guys could be the illegitimate children that he's
No,
fathered with.
okay,
Who
this
knows
is a
how
bad-
many of
This
these
is a
other
bad
women?
start. We're going the wrong direction.
No. Okay, seriously though, I think as far as like history, because I do not want to do like flashbacks or go backs or anything like that. But if he's always coming home to his sister, right?
Oh, so he has a sister.
He has a sister now.
James Bond has a sister.
Yeah, and it could be a sister from another mister or something. Like, I don't really care.
His stepsister?
I don't know, whatever, right? But like
Half sister.
The idea.
And his mom is M.
No. Oh my goodness, no.
I'm just taking the family thing to new levels.
No, we don't want that.
I don't want that
We're not doing
either.
Archer, okay? That's been done, okay? So what I'm no, but I think what I like about the concept of him coming back is that there is a consistent relationship that has history that we can draw on for bringing out things about him and his past and where he is today and how he's grown or not grown through things. And also there's a potential then for someone to ultimately come back to like a really personal threat.
Right.
He's always fighting with his sister, just like, we always when kids, and then it's like, but now you're picking on my sister, so now I'm gonna take you out.
So do we
And
know?
for her, I would totally cast Zendaya. She's really young. Like, so it has to be like maybe it's a niece. I don't know, something.
His niece.
I don't know. I'm just spitballing here.
So
female
now we have
character
a female character
who
the
is
Bond is not
familial
going to
related.
have sex with.
Right. Definitely not.
This is not Game of Thrones.
Right.
We aren't going there. I feel like it's almost a cliche, but I was wondering about, especially if you're into this family and go, I wonder if you do kind of a, I'm poor. I'm like an average person just trying to get by in London, and you're always at these stupid, like, I don't know what you do, but you're always in tuxes and going to parties. And so I'm kind of thinking that you've abandoned me, and you're not really helping anything. You're not involved in anything real. You just went and got rich and did something else. Or, I mean, do you know?
Or she comes.
You
and
work for the
crashes
government.
Right. She comes and crashes at his pad, and it's kind of like, she shows up. And he's like, "What the? Oh no!" Like, oh no's. Like,
So do we see this at the beginning of the movie? Like, is that like the kind of intro? So it's James Bond. Family means everything.
Wait.
and the street always wins.
This is a terrible Bond film so far. You can't have the opening sequence be like
No.
I'm at my apartment and my sister came over. This is a Bond movie, dude. You can't start there.
No, we gotta start somewhere else. But you do this crazy opening thing, right? Where he had to like do the thing, right? Like the big thing, right? And probably
the big thing.
Yeah.
What's the big thing, Luke?
Big. Woo!
Okay,
Huge.
fast with more intensity, and it's gonna have to be like where he's trying to extract the sister of somebody or something it's got to be something like that, setting that up like it's this super intense moment where like he's infiltrating the Russian oligarch and getting whatever, or he's in North Korea and he's getting Kim Jong Un's like niece out of something, right? And like that has to go sideways, and he has to do his thing, right? Because now we're getting like the jumping off of a cliff and into a plane as it falls into a lava pit, whatever. Okay, and then he gets
Big.
home.
So big.
Okay, and then he gets home.
He is helping the child or family relation
Bond
of a
with
dictator get out of a bad place.
Well, is Bond gonna have a kid sidekick now too? Like, what's
No,
going on?
No, and not like young child, like like adult sibling or something of somebody, right? Getting like this.
So
would be the setup.
let's do Kim Jong. So it's in North Korea.
Well, okay, hold on. Okay, what are we even talking about?
Korean
right
dictator.
Now right now we're talking about the opening of the film.
Right.
Okay, now we're switching gears. We're leaving the sister thing behind for a second.
No,
Because we have to
building
get
to
there because you wouldn't let me put her in the opening sequence.
Right, because she doesn't belong in the opening sequence.
But
It's a
I
Bond
love
film.
the familial tie between him having to rescue a
There's got to be
person.
there's got to be something though. Like, I feel like it only works if he's got something against his sister, or if he's trying to stay away from her for whatever reason. I don't think it works if he's got strong ties with her that are like good, because
No, right.
he can't be around.
Yeah.
He has to constantly be off. He's constantly nailing like a bunch of different random ladies, and I feel like there's something about the way the character is.
Do they
like, the
know
sister
that
is
they're
a
brother?
contrast?
Do they know their brother and sister at the start of the movie?
Well, okay. Are we talking about the very start? Because at the very start of the movie, we're in
we're
North
in North Korea.
We're
No.
doing something insane there.
We're helping someone escape from North Korea.
Maybe
And then opening titles.
opening. Okay, Bond. Opening titles in North Korea. We've done that before, by the way. It's called Die Another Day. He goes to North Korea and gets captured.
Well,
He doesn't get captured this time, though.
I don't remember that.
He surfs on the California coast, which is also in North Korea.
What?
Shh, don't tell anybody. Big opening sequence. What's the action opening sequence going to be? That's what we're trying to crack.
Right. We're trying to get that. Well,
So we need like a cool MacGuffin.
Yes.
A cool locale.
Look, they actually
Cool
have nukes.
vehicle. This stuff is not easy.
No, it's not. I mean, I was going to go with the obvious of nukes, but
The obvious of nukes.
yeah.
Okay, well, if we want to be obvious, how about pandemics and virus warfare?
Ooh, a virus.
Ooh.
He's gotta keep a virus from he's capturing. He's in Wuhan district in China, and he's gonna get himself one of them viruses they've been making, and he's gonna stop them from unleashing it on the world. He's got to get out with it, like in Mission Impossible 3.
Yeah. I'm like, why are we doing that?
How do we do something that's not been done yet?
You don't.
Assassination, dude. Like he's like we always say James Bond's an assassin.
true.
Who's he assassinating? He should just be assassinating somebody.
Kim Jong.
Yeah. With his sidekick Psy.
Dude, now that's a movie I'd watch, but it's not a Bond film proper. Okay, that's some weird other thing. Oppa Gangnam Style. Boom, da boom, da. We gotta get out. The North Koreans are after us. All right.
Okay, maybe not North Korea. What's a good? Okay, who's he assassinating and why? What's going on?
It's gonna have to play in later. Like it's one of those things
Yeah,
where what's the important part of the setup? What are the best Bond openings? What do they set up? What are they doing? It's always setting up a villain,
Right.
Or setting up his big struggle. Like
Right.
what's it? Skyfall sets up the whole thing of he's been gone and he's been dead and he's old. Like he's been wounded and he's got to get back in shape. Like the whole movie is set up with he goes on a mission and gets shot by his own people.
Yeah, I don't remember that at all. Okay, cool. All right.
Amateurs.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, because that one didn't speak to me a lot. So
In Goldfinger, it's like he electrocutes a woman and blows up a thing. Like that's what he does.
wow. Okay. Yeah, I mean you've got classics like where you you set up the bad guy where you kill your friend, and then it turns out that Not actually your friend, but I am. Little birdhouse in my soul.
Okay, so the virus stuff often has to do with getting we've been worried about viruses going from animals to people, right?
Mm-hmm.
And James Bond has a lot of roots with islands and like Caribbean. Like, so do we get some sort of, maybe not an island, but some sort of South American coast area, something that could be really exotic looking, nice. Maybe it is an island, but there's a researcher there who's researching animals and the diseases there, so he can figure out how to transfer it and get that into a human, like it will hit a human, so we can unleash it for some sort of specific purpose, which would be a longer threat. But like that's the insinuation.
Normally, you start in like a cold location so that like you can end in a warm location, because then
This is
your
our
whole
Bond
team-
film.
But that way, the whole crew can party.
We're not shooting this film. I'm not shooting this film.
Oh,
I'm writing
that's
it
why
right
they
now.
do it like that. So you start cold and you move to warm.
How about that time it started warm and got cold? Spectre.
Yeah, do we talk about that movie? I mean, come on now.
I'm saying we go to some like South American coast area or African coast, something that's got some jungle nearby on the coast. He's assassinating a researcher guy who's like he's an evil doctor. He's an evil virus guy who wants to make the new pandemic for. Do you want to make it economic? It doesn't even matter because we won't necessarily, it'll be one
We won't know
line.
why.
It'll
Yeah.
be M on the phone. He's going to do this to cause problems for the United Kingdom and all the world. He sucks. Let's kill him.
Mhm.
And then, and then,
Then he does.
but then a wild pack of baboons showing.
Hey now, the guy who wanted to keep this serious all of a sudden is talking about a wild pack of baboons.
You know, the thing though is that we could do it and it would not be out of the stretch of Bond films. Like that's what's crazy. Okay.
Luke is crying.
Does he make the headshot?
Is he even going for a headshot?
He
Is
kills
trying
the
to kill-
baboon instead.
I mean, is he trying to kill him in a very specific way so that it's not known?
Is it?
It has like there's got to be a plan.
Yeah. Okay.
It's got to go wrong.
Okay. So here we go.
Chase and stuff.
Yeah.
Explosion. He wins.
Here's what's going on. Okay. His job is to go in. So here's Idris Elba, James Bond, going in and trying to infiltrate this guy, and then he's trying to kill him with his own disease without letting it go out.
Did you say infiltrate this guy?
Infiltrate, get this guy,
Infiltrate this guy. Okay.
and like infect him with his own disease.
So he
but also
died
right,
as a
result of his
he
own
was
stuff.
careless.
Right.
Okay.
Or
right.
and kind of also don't anybody else try this because you'll get killed by
Okay.
it, right?
Okay. Let's make
And-
it sexy. So it's like a super cool lab.
Yeah.
Really sexy lab with really cool windows that would
In the
never happen in a
jungle.
lab.
Sure.
In the jungle.
Yes.
Somewhat near the coast because we need some.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah. Okay. All
Okay,
right.
but,
all right.
but what happens is, and I don't want to go too Mission Impossible 3 with this.
Not too Mission
but-
Impossible 3.
But
No Tom Cruise.
no,
Does that mean
Not
we
even-
cast
not
Philip
even Ving
Seymour
Rhames.
Hoffman as the
is
bad guy?
is the bad guy. Okay.
Tom Cruise
That
is
would be
the bad guy?
amazing.
Okay. No. But
What?
what's happening? No. What happens is he's going there and he's trying to get him to look like like he just accidentally infect himself.
But he's
got
gotta
to
be
James
like-
Bond.
He's got to be like undercover as a doctor or
Yes,
something, right?
Right. Or like a health inspector or a installer of the thing.
I want
Why
Idris
would
Elba
there
in
be
a
a
lab
health
coat.
inspector
Dude,
in
yeah.
I
a
want like a
lab in the
silent
middle of the
tension
jungle?
section. I want a silent tension section where like they're both in the lab together and like he's got to somehow make this thing happen very subtly, but the
Yeah.
doctor's got to be like I don't want to draw it on too long,
Yeah.
but kind of start in that sequence.
That'd be sweet. And okay, so then
So it starts quiet and it's just gonna get loud. Like the whole sequence would just be get louder, get
Yeah.
louder, get louder until it's over.
Okay.
And we're in the opening.
Okay, I love this. And so Idris Elba is posing as an online like person that's going to help him accomplish this thing, like the person who can do the delivery mechanism. For
Badpeople.com. They have a
Yeah,
chat board. Okay.
yeah,
All right.
Well, he's probably doing it on like Parlor or something, right?
Oh my God! You did not. You did not. You mean he used Twitter and got blocked, and so now he's going to go do it?
Okay, so they're meeting in person for the first time, but this is James Bond's in because of course MI5 totally circumvented it or created that person to begin with, right? So he's in it. So now
So
he has to.
if we're
convince
doing
him.
that, there's got to be like an entourage with him, or like a buddy with him that's going to
Yeah.
end up being the civilian or whatever that's in
Yeah.
trouble, or like his partner guy who from
Right.
MI6 who's like not up to the task, or is going to be up to like competent,
Okay.
but not
But here's
So
what I
the
want.
partner dies.
Here's what I want.
something will happen.
Yeah. But here's what I want. I want James Bond to actually get sick from it. Okay.
Oh,
And
so he's
now
gonna be infected
he's
from the very
actually gonna be
beginning.
infected. But what happens? I don't want this to. Again, I don't want this to be MI. But what I want is I want him to like the bad guy gets away right there because we got to set that up. But he's gotten infected and he gets real sick. But like it's only like a month or whatever, and then he's actually like back up and he's recovering. But now he's on a handicap because now he's got like lungs that are whatever, and they're not fully back up to. So like he's got all these skills that he has, but he's physically limited now.
That's
from
Skyfall.
this. Dang it.
Skyfall gets shot and he's out for the game for a while, and he's physically limited and has to get back in shape.
Okay, well I don't want him to actually like have to get back in shape. I want him to
what
work.
what if he doesn't know he's infected? He's asymptomatic, if you will.
And he is
And
actually
he's patient
He's
zero.
patient zero. So the whole movie is about him trying to stop this pandemic, and he creates it.
He keeps globetrotting and he just infecting all the countries. And at the very end, they have to kill him.
Okay,
the
we
last
just failed.
James
We
Bond
just
movie
failed.
ever.
James Bond. Okay, no, but I like the idea. I still like the idea that he
gets
sick,
infected.
and now it's personal. Like as it always is.
I was trying to kill you with your own disease, and I got sick instead.
I got
Now
No.
it's personal.
Now it's personal, you jerk.
You jerk face.
Does that mean Bond makes out with the bad guy to get him sick?
No, what? No, no.
But he does get with some women, and it's like this. It's like actually, it's really hardcore, like anti-STD and it's a hardcore anti-STD message because he's infected with the disease and just was killing people.
Where are you guys going with my movie? I like this movie.
Okay, it's not yours. It's ours. It's a Bond film. Okay, and
Not right now. It's not.
it's gone some weird places. Baboons could show up at this point. I don't know. I don't know. Let's see if we can crack this opening sequence. We all agree. Jungle locale,
Yeah, super cool.
near coast,
Yes.
right? Virus guy,
Yep.
super sexy lab. That's like
Yep.
really cool architecture because you gotta have something like that to start. Really quiet scene to start us off with him like subtly trying to do something. You're trying to figure out what's going on.
Yep.
But you can't let that go too long. But
Definitely got the lab coat.
he screws something up, and he gets himself infected. Or does his like partner guy get him infected?
I mean,
Because Bond's like, does Bond really make a ton of mistakes? Like he can, but like,
right.
but like he's not like if he's going in there to do this, he's not doing it to get
I think the partner dies and Bond gets infected all at the beginning.
right.
Right, but okay.
And by
so
partner,
instead
we
of-
mean just like some liaison guy that
Right,
he's got to
yeah.
work with for.
So instead of it'd probably be a girl because sexy lab, sexy.
Is
girl.
this just okay? So do we really approach this as the end of the last Bond movie, basically? And the girl dies, and he gets infected, and like the reason we don't do that Bond film is because that Bond film ends terribly. Is that how we do this?
I don't know.
So the girl that he was rendezvousing with that was helping him get into the lab dies because of man. The women just get murdered
They
all the
do.
time around
they do
Bond.
because you got to make it
But
feel,
usually it's the bad women that get murdered.
Sometimes, not always.
Okay, so I think instead of it being a mistake, because I don't like the idea either. Well, I like the idea more of Bond like not being able to quite do it for whatever reason, but that doesn't make a lot of sense because Bond is the person who's always capable. I think instead the bad guy should figure it out, and I think we should know that the bad guy is leading him into a trap.
Yes.
We know.
Yeah. We know, like we see the realization that the bad guy has of who this is and what's going on, and then we see Bond playing out his scenario as he expects it to, and the bad guy playing along until he flips it on him at the very end and gets away.
But I would also like this bad guy to have like a bigger, badder boss as well.
Well, that is entirely within reason with a Bond film. You don't generally start off with the main bad guy. It's always a goon of some kind.
Right, but I think having a goon
lackey.
who's able to like see through, past, and around
Yeah.
would be awesome.
Yeah, and that's happened before as well. The question is like, what's the aim here? Like how he infects him with this new virus thing he's been figuring out and hopes that he'll die within 30 days or something. Like, what's he aiming at? How does he do this?
Well, the infection is kind of like okay, it hit the fan. Now what can I do in this moment? Well, if I don't want Bond continuing to chase me, I better infect him with this disease.
Well, and I almost want him to like get him sick, and then like knock him out and put him on a plane.
This is a Bond movie. Let's go insane. This is an accelerated version of a virus. He's not only gotten it from an animal and figured out how to infect humans, he's figuring out how to make a super accelerated version that kills people within the length of the chase. He's got to get an antidote or some sort of success out of this by the end of the opening sequence, or he's dead.
okay.
And he's getting
I'm fine with that.
symptoms that are they're disabling him as he
Yeah.
goes forward in the chase.
Right.
So he's losing faculties, losing ability at every step of the way.
Right.
And he's got to also somehow capture this guy and get the antidote, cure himself, and win the day. He's
Right.
got to do all of that, and it's going to be the first 5-10 minutes of the movie.
Yeah, I like it. Let's do it.
Okay. So that's your opening sequence.
And then we go into credits.
Does he, or does the bad guy get away?
The bad guy absolutely gets away. I'm wondering if the sidekick person saves his life somehow. Like, you know, like Bond is so laser focused on accomplishing the mission that he's willing to like set aside his own safety, while the other person is like, you know, dying too, but like is able to save him with the injection or the heart reboot or whatever, you know, they need to do, so that Bond is like fading out, and we go into like the opening credits then are kind of like this delirious like, you know, fever dream kind of thing.
Like every opening credit.
Right, but now it makes sense. Okay, so
And he's just dreaming about naked women that you can't quite see because it's always he's just delirious. And what's on Bond's mind?
yes,
Mostly naked women.
Obviously,
Maybe some guns.
yeah.
I don't know
Now
why
it
they
actually
haven't-
does make sense.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know why they haven't thought about this before.
Okay, well there we go. So now we've got a cool opening. We got our stuff. We got the through the thing. Okay, and now he's going to wake up back in his apartment, and he's not going to know how he got there. Okay, so MI5 had to like send the extraction team. They put him into a safe.
MI6.
MI6. Sorry. They
And
send
this is why his sister shows up, because they had to notify next of kin.
I don't know about that, but maybe.
It's the freaking super spy agency. They're not notifying nobody
Right. Exactly.
unless he's dead.
Yeah.
So the sister shows up.
Does she? He's back at his apartment. You're saying
Right.
in London.
But like it's probably like, you know, one of his like, you know, 8 safe house locate. You know, right? Like it's not like.
Are we in London?
Yeah.
We're
sure.
in England,
We're
London.
Yeah, we're back. We're
So
back.
for all intents and purposes, we're assuming this is Bond's pad.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And you
good with
want the
this?
sister to show up.
Yes.
Yes.
You don't want the sister to show up.
I'm just trying to make sure it makes sense. Like what's the reason for her to be there, and how is that going to play out? That's the whole point of that scene. So what are we setting up?
Someone is going to have had to take care of Bond.
Okay, what about this? The pandemic actually went off now. Like it's like while Bond was incapacitated and because he was unable to complete his mission, now the pandemic's actually out and people are dying, because that actually relates to like where we are now. And so people are quarantined, and Moneypenny was like, I'm getting you your sister so you're not like going through this like crazy whatever, you know, stuff alone.
Okay, I can buy that. Also, if the disease is actually out there, that's kind of interesting. Of course, it's very fast acting from what we saw with Bond, and we know that it can be devastating. How long has he been out?
Well, I think part of it is maybe the dose that Bond got was a special like.
Is it one of those
concentrated
like if
dose.
you use it, you don't have it anymore? Is it one of those things where the agent made the wrong choice in the sense of Bond? He saved Bond's life when Bond's entire purpose is to save everybody, and you can only use this thing once or you lose it. And so they used it on Bond, or the agent, or the girl that was rendezvousing with him used it because she loves him, and it ended up being the wrong choice, and he should have died, and everyone else should have lived. And now there's this terrible, fast-acting pandemic going around.
That could be interesting.
And so there's no antidote except that it's in his blood, except they can't extract it for whatever set of reasons.
Well, that means that Bond is going to have to go to whatever secret lab somewhere of the bad guy to extract his blood with the antidote in it and save the world.
Well, Bond's blood does, like, the question is, how do you get more antidote, or how do you stop the pandemic? And we've established apparently that this happens within 10 minutes you die, unless you have this stuff. So this stuff
Well,
is acting quickly.
So the version of the virus that Bond gets is the only version of the virus that they can actually make the antidote from, but it was a last of the last. So they still have this narrowed down version that will kill people, but
Okay, no.
time, right?
There's the lady didn't do it. The agent didn't do it in the beginning. The bad guy, Bond is failing. He can't do it anymore, and the bad guy comes back to him and takes his blood because this is the like using the antidote and then taking his blood is like the last step in perfecting having complete control over the disease and using it in the most lethal possible way.
Well, also potentially the most financially beneficial to whomever.
Right. So now we're doing Mission Impossible 2.
Yeah, no, I don't want to do that. Okay, so here's my next idea on that. Okay? Next idea is that yes, it is wicked fast, and this is actually a problem for the bad guy because what happens is it kills everybody so quickly that it can't jump because everybody dies. And like,
so he's got to so
the bad guy's
tension
still trying to
is
solve that problem.
the bad guy is still trying to solve that problem while Bond is trying to stop that.
Right. So
there's been
And create the
outbreaks,
antidote. Yes.
and the world's very concerned because they don't know how to stop it, but it's so fast
Right.
that it's not spreading. So
Right. Well, like what happens is like
like assassinations,
right.
like world leaders,
Yeah.
like groups of people are dying very quickly.
Yeah,
and you can't.
like you could kill the entire Senate, like just boom, right? You can kill an entire plane, and by the time it lands, like if you open the door,
It would never land.
well, it would go on autopilot and land or whatever. But like you have these planes arriving in countries where it's just full of dead bodies, right? Like horrifically dead, and then it's like, well, now what do we do? Do we burn it? Do we what do we do to the plane? Because now like you can't so there are these like tombs that are like moving around.
I have a
crazy.
very serious question. If he's dealing with pandemic stuff and like people can't go places and hang out together, how is he going to go to a party and get a drink? And then meet the lady and do the things. Like, how are we going to do any of that? Like, what's the...
I don't know yet. Right now, I'm focusing on how are we doing this sequence here, and I think this solution. I
Well,
like
once
this
he
solution.
saves the world-
It's macabre and it's awful and it's it's very now. It's hip. No.
I mean,
that's a lot like the coronavirus.
once you
What's
save
that?
once you save the
It's
world,
a thing. You should read up on it.
Okay, maybe we'll.
Once you save the world, though, everyone comes together to celebrate.
No, I
so
think what happens. I think the party that he goes to, since we do need to have a party, I think the party is the bad guy's party, and the bad guy, like because it's his and he controls it, like that whole underground world there, they don't have any fear because they truly are fine.
Okay. If we really want, I mean, I don't want to make this a one-for-one for our current coronavirus experience
of course not.
commentary, but you could suggest that if a lot of people are trying to pandemic, right? Like it's the bad guy. It could not even be the bad guy. It could just be people who are refusing to abide, like, right?
Yeah.
Secret underground parties. Like he's always going to a black market thing anyway, right? So it's the black market,
That too.
hangout party.
Right.
Or the wealthy, we don't have to follow the rules
Right.
party, or whatever you want to call it. Anyway, so you got a pandemic, but it's not really because it's really dangerous. It kills itself quickly, so it's not spreading. So maybe you're maybe not.
As long as you keep your distance from the pile of dead bodies.
But they've been hitting enough things that
Right.
the world doesn't know what to do about it. So travel's really being restricted. People are
Right.
being really cautious about where they go or what they do. No one really knows where to.
terror everywhere because
Everyone's not sure. Yeah, everyone's just like it could happen to us.
right. It's like what if Ebola hit you in 10 minutes and it just spread through wherever you were and everyone that you're touching. Holy crap.
Right. And so Bond's sister shows up at the apartment.
She's there.
She's there when he wakes up, and we're establishing to the audience that he has a sister in this scene.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so
okay.
we're gonna do it with really bad dialogue. Where he's like, "Hello,
I mean,
sister."
this is a Bond film. If you want to do humor and be ridiculous, do you set it up like the audience does not know it's his sister?
Yes.
So you wonder if it's like his latest liaison.
I like it.
And then you find out, oh, but no, she's totally his sister, and that's not at all what they're doing, and this is a totally different thing.
Right. Yeah. And so you can
Yes.
totally do hey sexy, and you can do some of that playful banter stuff because
She's mocking him.
right or whatever. Yeah. And then goes in for a kiss, but totally just kisses his forehead or whatever.
And make some
that'd be a hell of a
comment
scene to
about
write.
how mom would have been mad at his choice of profession.
Does she even know what he does?
I
What does she
don't
think?
think she should know. Although
Well,
he does always say
He
I'm
was
Bond.
brought there, and Monty Penny came and found her and was like, save his life. He's got this disease.
No, hang out with him. Hang out with him
Hang out with him.
during this lockdown and the problems they're in.
Okay, we've probably been going on for a while, so we've maybe cracked the opening sequence we've casted a Bond.
Yep.
We've got an idea. There's a sister played by Zendaya, apparently.
And Tom Cruise is the bad guy.
While I'm not against it yet, I'm not sure it's the right choice.
That's fair. That's
The
fair.
villain stuff really has to be fleshed out. We just know
Yeah,
they
I
have
know.
some sort of virus they've been perfecting for some sort of reason, but they've already been using it.
Right.
So you got to wonder what's the real, like, what are they really after?
What's their end game? Because right now they haven't been able to get it to. They haven't been able to become pandemic stat. Right now it's just this like.
Well,
flash in the pan.
and
It's a terror weapon
Is
at
it
this
about that, or is it about something else? Like,
I think it's about controlling water supply.
We might have to give up on this idea.
No, this is awesome. Like what I like what we have so far. It's like this takes a long time.
it does. We should probably give our audience a break. Maybe we'll do a part 2, if anyone cares.
Part 2, the bad guy.
You gotta solve the bad guy. What's the bad guy doing? What's he after?
I mean,
here-
at
here's
this point, he goes to an underground. We've got the
We know what his next mission is.
apartment. We know what his next mission is. He's got to stop the bad guys. Ultimately, he's going to go to an underground party with the bad guys. Where does that get him? He understands where the bad guys are going to be at a certain point in
dude.
time.
Okay.
The bad guys know who he is, and
Okay, this might be a totally different Bond film. We may not be able to do that, but I just like this. I have this new idea. I really love it. I love the idea of a plot where the double O's are being murdered. The double O's are all being assassinated. They're the ones being hunted, constantly
is that
taken
why?
down.
Is that why they lured 007 to the thing and gave him the?
Well, I wonder if what I kind of like the idea is he's been taken out of the game for a period of time. So what if when he came back, it's not just the world's in this serious situation. What if it's like, we have to send you back out in the field because you're the only double O we have right now. What do you mean I'm the only double O? Every other double O is being systematically hunted and killed within the last 2 weeks.
And there's only 9 of them.
There's only 9 of them, but they're the best agents and they have a low life expectancy, but like, it's the same thing. Like it's the disease, or it's like they
The
keep on
disease,
getting
yeah.
killed. They keep like our
It's
double O agents
absolutely the disease.
are
It
being
absolutely is.
murdered, and
And they think they got Bond, but they didn't because he's still alive.
well,
No,
I
the bad
think
guy.
they know that he's like
Yeah.
because the bad guy went and
Yeah,
saved his
saved his
life
life.
to perfect the disease, but I do wonder if it's they're just waiting. They want you back out. Like you're the last one they got to kill. So it's a risk reward. Do you send Bond in the field when you know that literally everybody's looking for him because he's the last of
And
the double
knows
O's?
who he is.
Maybe he's not the last. Maybe there's like one more. It's like
Yeah.
009 is out there, and we haven't heard from him or her, but it's bad out there, and we need you to go find them. At the same time, you can't really do that because if you send them to go find the next 00, that's 2 00s. It's 2 for 1. You don't want that kind of thing going on. So
And what would be awesome, right, is that you've got the global fear, right, of like when is this thing going to hit us? But you also have the the intelligence community fear, which is
They're taking out
how
all
in the
of us,
world
yeah.
are they like every time we do a mission, the person ends up dead because of this. Like it's the crop circles issue.
So that's your setup,
Yep.
and then he's got to start going to like crazy black market parties or
right,
whatever.
which is like right into the lion's den, right?
Yeah, he's got to go. So once again, but we know now it's not just your typical a bad guy may go after Bond. It's like something's happening that's killing everybody, and you're next.
Yeah.
You're on the list, but you've got to go out there to stop it. So
Right. They don't even need the knock list. They have it already.
Yep.
the Mission Impossible influence is so strong here. Okay, that's a good start. That's a good stopping place for now, but that's also a good setup. That's
Are
a
we gonna-
premise.
are we coming
My 9
back?
is Carrie Russell. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
We haven't casted anybody else yet. I don't
Although
even
I
know.
know that you want Carl Urban somewhere in here. Too.
That's a different movie.
Okay.
Oh,
That
my
could be fun,
goodness. Gentlemen, as we wrap up this episode, why don't we give our viewers one actual Bond movie for them to go see?
I mean, if you haven't seen Goldeneye, you need to see Goldeneye. Like, you got to see that one. Although, yeah, there are so many. Oh man. Okay, I'll have to think about this. But right now, I'm saying Goldeneye.
I mean,
It's a classic.
I could almost do one for every single era. Basically, the Roger Moore era, skip it, and then otherwise, there's some good stuff. I would say My personal favorite, even though I think I've seen all of them, minus a couple of Roger Moores that I was happy to skip. I really do like Casino Royale a lot. I really do enjoy that Bond film. I like what they did with everything, and it's kind of my teenager, go to the theaters Bond film. So, I definitely like that one. But if you're gonna go old school, I mean, Goldfinger, or From Russia with Love, or just one of the Bonds. Two, like one. You Only Live Twice has the secret volcano lair and everything. Like, those are some classic Bond things. Timothy Dalton's isn't too bad, a little different. Pierce Brosnan's acquired taste. It's an acquired taste.
There's a reason he doesn't talk much.
He does talk. He just
Yes, I am invincible.
Goldeneye. Yeah, I mean, I think Goldeneye's a good choice. But anyway, yeah, I'd say my favorite's Casino Royale. But if you need to get acquainted with Bond, you got to start with Goldfinger. You got to start with Goldfinger. Dr. No's not even. But yeah. Anyway.
Thanks for joining us.
No, Scott.
Hey.
He took mine. Goldfinger.
Scott says Goldfinger. He says Goldeneye, and I say Gold Casino Royale.
Thanks for joining us. We'll catch you again next time.